What's up, everyone? Andy and Steve from WagerTalk.com. Welcome to the Road to Millions on Sunday, September 3rd. We've got a little bit of a different show here, guys. We're going to go over one of our best betting strategies in the NFL, and we are doing our first quarter under. So, we're going to walk you through how we build these plays. And of course, you can get all of our plays at wagertalk.com. But NFL season's here, so we wanted to show you guys a little strategy that we worked on. Of course, you're more than welcome to do this on yourself. But if you just invest in us, you will see all of our plays, and you get that with all of our NFL packages. We'll go over a fade of the day, and then we'll talk about some units that we've won this week, and we'll get ready for bankroll reset day tomorrow. So, Steve, first quarter unders, not really something people talk about, but we've made this work. I guess this. What's intriguing about this?
So what we like about this as opposed to taking like a full game under is that, early on in a game, teams they like to feel each other out, that each team doesn't want to make that big mistake. So early on is when we see a lot of low scoring games. And, we're targeting, we're looking for a 7.5, maybe a 7 or 7.5 or higher. Obviously, if you could get above 10.5 at some points, sometimes in a high scoring game, that's great because you can afford to have two scores happen in the first quarter. Obviously we could take a 7, knowing that if we can end up pushing on one touchdown, but generally early on, we're just looking for these teams to keep each other out of the end zone, and we're willing to accept a couple of field goals and let it slip into the second quarter.
Yeah, beautiful thing about 7.5 is you need a touchdown and field goal to beat you. So that's kind of what we're looking for here on the totals. And most of the totals are going to be above 7. So let's go into how we build these, and we'll talk about last year. So last year, NFL first quarter unders, we were 45 and 31 in totals. We were plus 31.58 units in 2022. That was number one on Wager Talk in NFL totals by doing this strategy. So what we're looking for is teams that run the ball, teams without explosive offenses, and teams with a good defense. So we're wanting these teams that run the ball so they run out the clock. We want teams that don't have huge, big, explosive plays that eat up a chunk of yards. And then we want good defenses. All we need is almost one stop in the first quarter, and it really helps. But I think the big thing here is, Steve, teams that run the ball, man, when that clock is running in the first quarter, it's amazing how easily you can run out the clock in the first quarter. I mean, how many times did we cash a first quarter under because a team was driving and got down to like the 15-yard line and then the 10-yard line, and then end of the first quarter, and then early in the second they punch it into the end zone. So we're really looking at the run the ball, are we?
Yeah, 100%. And like you said, at the end of the quarter, we had plenty of those where we were kind of sweating towards the end. Where, oh man, hopefully they don't score here, and you just see that there's no urgency in the first quarter like there is at the end of the half or the end of a game. You let that time slip away. You just march down to the other end of the field and start to drive over again. And teams are more than happy to do that, and we've benefited from that the past couple seasons.
Yeah, so let's take a look at 2022 and let's see the top first quarter under teams. So 5 of them really stuck out: Panthers, Ravens, Patriots, Colts, and Jets. And this is what we try and do: is we find these teams that we can ride either for like the whole season or just even a small portion of it. But Panthers, Ravens, Patriots, Colts, Jets. So we pulled out some stats here, and here's what we're looking at here. So I looked up yards per play allowed. So this kind of speaks to their defense. And we look here and you have the Panthers, who are 17th best in yards per play allowed, Ravens 13th, Patriots 5th, Colts 11th, Jets in the second. So the Panthers were the only ones outside of the top half, and everyone else does a good job, or did a good job last year, holding teams to yards per play. So they're not giving up huge chunk plays. They're forcing, some punts. And then I went and looked at passing yards, and the Panthers fifth lowest last year. So just look at the Panthers there. So they're 17th in yards per play. Okay, that's above average. But then passing yards, they couldn't move the ball through the air. So we get a really nice combo there. The Ravens, they were 13th best in yards per play allowed, third lowest in passing yards. So we loved the Ravens. They run the ball. That clock just tick, 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 tick down. The Patriots were a great one. They were fifth best. Their defense was good, but they couldn't throw the ball. 12th lowest passing yards. The Colts, kind of in the middle there, 11th best in yards per play allowed, 13th in passing yards. And the Jets, the Jets 19th lowest, so they pass the ball more above average, but look at that yards per play. Jets second best in yards per play. So takeaways from this one, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it. The Patriots are the one that I've had circled for coming into this. Like last season and this season, they're that team that they can't pass the ball, run the ball like crazy, and they have and they're very conservative. They're not going to they're going to try to avoid mistakes early in the game, and they have a great defense. So it's the perfect combination. A team like that, a team like I feel like the Broncos this year are another team that we could look closely at. So teams like that have that great defense but control the clock and they can't kill you with the pass.
Yeah, so we're not going to be coming out of the gate firing. We're going to wait a couple weeks and see. But here are some of the teams that we've kind of circled. So we see definitely the Patriots and the Broncos. I have the Jets again. Not sold on this offense being able to move the ball a ton, and I'm not sold on explosive plays. That offensive line is rough. Rodgers is not like getting hit. I'm not sure he's going to have enough time to set up a deep pass. So I see a lot of short passes, and their defense should be good as well. Panthers, why not go back to them? Their defense is slated to be good, and that offense, yikes. Holy crap. Yeah. That's going to be tough for them to be scoring points early, huh?
The one thing you got to worry about with that one is that you don't end up with an unfortunate or unlucky pick six. That's what you got to worry about is with these really inept offenses is that they make a mistake that could kill you with a defensive score.
Yep. You mentioned the Broncos, and then I have to mention the Browns just because their defense I think is going to be really good, and then I'm not sure how good the offense is going to be, and we know that they love to run the ball. So, I mean, you get them running the ball a lot with that defense. I feel like that's a pretty good recipe for some unders. So, the Jets, Patriots, Panthers, Buccaneers, Broncos, and Browns are the ones that we'll be keeping our eye on. Now, we're not married to these, and we're not going to be playing them the first couple weeks. This is monitor and just see how it goes. And I would add this: be willing to adjust throughout the season. Injuries to quarterbacks are huge. You could have a really big explosive offense and they may be first quarter over all the time. And then the quarterback goes out. Now they're unders. Weather, we did good with this. I mean, sometimes you can have an explosive team, but if it's snowing and windy, it's not going to work. And then just style of play, if style of play changes. So we like to pick the same teams and just ride them throughout the year, but do not be scared to adjust. I can't remember the team. Steve, was there a team was there a team that we were riding that we just had to stop because they checked the boxes and for whatever reason they would get over? Or was there a team that we got off of? I can't remember. But I would know there was a team that we were riding, and then all of a sudden it was like it's not working. It may have been Washington, actually.
Was it Pittsburgh? Maybe.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah, one of those teams. We like. Oh, this is gonna. They run the ball out. Their defense is good, and then they just always went over.
Yeah, you just got to be willing to adjust as the season goes on. Like you said, injuries can obviously play a key part in that, and then the weather. That was a big one for us too. We've taken obviously the weather is going to lower the total a little bit, but sometimes with the first quarter, you can still get a 7, and hang and get to the point where you just push if a touchdown does happen.
The other thing that we did was there were a couple teams that just went over all the time in the first quarter. The Chiefs and the Bills were to them, so we just didn't play them. Like obviously, the Jets and the Patriots are in the same division with the Bills. Any Bills game, we were just like, no. So that was the other thing is you have to look at the opponent. The opponent has to, not be one of these elite teams. Like we never did this against the Eagles, the Chiefs, and the Bills. I believe were the 3 teams that were just like we're not betting against those teams. So
yeah, the Chiefs and the Bills are teams that you definitely want to stay away from. You can't play a first quarter under with the Chiefs, almost regardless of who they play.
Absolutely. So that's our first quarter under. Just a quick little recap: teams that run the ball, teams without explosive offenses, and teams with a pretty good defense. And we look at the Panthers, Ravens, Patriots, Colts, and Jets here. I'll show the slides here so you guys can see it. So, just yeah, teams run the ball, teams without explosive offense, teams with good defense. The Panthers, Ravens, Patriots, Colts, and Jets, those are your top teams in 2022. Look at the yards per play and the passing yards. You see, they check all the boxes there. And then we're looking at the Jets, Patriots, Panthers, Buccaneers, Broncos, and Browns as teams we'll be monitoring to start the season. So that is our first quarter unders. Brought in 35 units doing this in the NFL. I know it's a little bit obscure, but I feel like we just had a little bit of edge over the books in this category. So I feel like we're going to go right back to it. So for football season, we'll be doing these Sunday shows. So we'll have a lot more talk about individual props and games and things like that. But wanted to go over that. So tomorrow we're going to go over some sleepers. If you're like me, my big money fantasy draft is the Wednesday before the season starts. And I know a lot of drafts are going to be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So we'll get you some sleepers and also kind of blends into what props we like moving into weeks 1, 2, and 3. And we have a fade of the day. We're going to go to that. It is a pitcher, and there's multiple ways to look at this one. So, Steve, this was you, Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton is the guy that we're looking at as fade of the day. He's been lights out, almost too much lights out, I feel like. So just talk about Charlie Morton, how good he's been, and why we expect him to not sustain the streak that he's on right now.
Yeah, so I'm looking at his outs number set at 16.5, and I'm looking at the under here today. We're really going against the trend here because he's been great. He's went over his outs total in his last 3 games. And it just seems like a little bit of a unsustainable streak here. In his last 4 starts, he's pitched 24 innings. He's only allowed 1 earned run in all of those innings, and he even marched into Coors Field and threw 6 innings there and held them to 1 earned run. But he's running into a little bit of a buzzsaw hit potentially. Dodgers are top 5, if not top 3, on the season and over the last 30 days against right-handed pitching. And the 2 key hitters in this lineup have feasted on Morton throughout their career. Betts 11 for 36 with a home run, and then Freeman 10 for 18 with 3 home runs. So he's right at the top of the order. He's going to have 2 guys that have beaten up on him throughout his career. His former teammate Freeman. And then if you look at it, another thing here is that Morton in day starts. This one starts at 4:00. And in day starts, his ERA is 1 run higher, and his opponent batting average is about 30 points higher compared to in night starts. And we also have a double-digit wind blowing out to center field today in Los Angeles. So we have some spots here where the Dodgers could get at him. Braves won the first 2 games of this series, and so the Dodgers are going to be really locked in, looking to salvage 1 game and not get the sweep against their big rival in the National League.
Yeah, it's been a pretty amazing. That's been a pretty amazing display by Ozuna and Acuna.
Yeah,
those guys, hardest hit ball of the year last night. Good.
Yeah, it almost seems like they're on a collision course to face each other in the NLCS. But you know how it is sometimes in the baseball playoffs. There'll be a hot team that can come off, a wild card team that comes in really hot that knocks you off. So you got to be careful for that too.
Yeah. So we're looking at Charlie Morton. I love Betts coming off of a bad game. He doesn't have too many of those in a row, so might be a nice, probably getting a great price on Betts. So we're looking at fading Charlie Morton today. So just a quick Road to Millions recap for all of our all access clients. Yesterday was a really good day. We extended the MMA streak to 6-0. I'm so excited. Yeah, so excited about that. Soccer was a struggle, but we got there on a lot of plays yesterday that I didn't think we were going to. And tennis continues to be really, really nice. I believe Corbin's up over 10 units for the U.S. Open this week. So we're profitable. We have a couple things in the Formula One race today, and we'll see how the rest of the day turns out. But we're looking at a profitable week come Monday morning. So we will be doing our bankroll reset day tomorrow. I know it's technically a holiday, but it's too big of a week. Football week starts. We'll be doing Prop It Up. as well. So no days off for us, no matter what the calendar says.
Not when
So,
football season starts, that's for sure.
no. So they play on Thanksgiving. So so all right, guys. So that's going to do it for us. So tomorrow we're getting ready for Bankroll Reset Day, and we're going to bring you some fantasy sleepers that will help you out with props as well. We'll be going over MLB plays, and we'll get ready for this next week. Reminder: please don't overextend yourselves in week one. I feel like I'm going to be talking about that every day. Do not overextend yourself because it's week one of the NFL. Just don't. It's a recipe for disaster. So all the units spend the same. If you cash on a podunk little tennis play, it still spends the same as your NFL unit. So be careful on that. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us on the Road to Millions. All plays can be found at WagerTalk.com. Don't forget to hit the like button. Leave us a comment if you followed our first quarter unders last year. If you have any questions about it, leave us a comment below. So good luck on all your plays today, and we'll see everyone tomorrow on the Road to Millions.
Good luck.